Hello.
Hi. I'm happy to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, we are here again, and I'm truly excited about the topic that we're going to be discussing today. This has been like my thing for a bit, so I'm ready to just get it all out there and just share because I'm truly excited. So,
Yes, looking forward to this as well.
yeah. Hi, lovely. I'm Dr. Ambra Brown.
And I'm Tesh Alvaro. Welcome to Two Single Mums and a Donor Daddy,
where two complete strangers are connected by choosing the same donor daddy. And now we're having real conversations about the journey to solo motherhood by choice.
and how to prepare for it mentally, physically, emotionally, and even intuitively, while creating the path to motherhood on your terms.
So Tesh and I, we talk outside of just like this podcast because we are truly friends. And I was sharing with her the other day, and it tied into what we were going to talk about anyway, but I was in a group chat and with single moms by choice. And basically there's just mom, or not even a mom, just a woman who was thinking about becoming a single mom by choice. And some comment was made, well, she was making a little bit of a question, but also something that really stirred up in me about just becoming a single mom by choice as a last resort. And kind of her thoughts about it just seemed very not the best of light about being that single mom by choice as an option. And rooted in that too was I felt like some other deep issues that I think needed to be explored. And in that group, I did not chime in the group chat. I felt like a lot of the people in there did chime in, but it had me thinking that this topic was going to be so good for today because it's just truly important. I think the foundation of just knowing who you are, and that's simply about self-awareness and having that self-reflection. And I say this is because whether you're becoming a single mom by choice or adopting or whatever, you're a mother first. But you're thinking about becoming a mother. And so really knowing who you are before making that first step is really important. And by all means, I'm not saying like you have to know everything, but I think it's the foundation of being aware of yourself so that you can be strong and hold your convictions when you're making this path of becoming a mother, whether single mom by choice or married to a partner and becoming a mother, whatever it may be. I think it's really important to know who you are and being aware. And when things kind of seem a little bit challenging or a lot challenging, that you can reflect on things and help you get through those times. And I think this is just really important step before making that next step of becoming a mother. That's why I'm so excited about sharing that with you guys today. And Tesh also providing her expertise as well on the topic. So I'm really, really excited.
Yes. Me too. Absolutely. It is what we discuss about this. As we said, we do catch up quite frequently. And it really struck a nerve in the sense of just where this woman was at. And it was a question, but almost like a statement as well of the decision that she was actually considering making. So yeah, we talked about it quite strongly on it as well. So it was very interesting. And these actually need to be discussed. And I felt that it really came into alignment with what we're discussing today. So I was just like, this is quite perfect.
And I will say, I told Tesh too that this particular situation that this woman was feeling and going through, I think is going to be probably another topic or a conversation, another episode, because I know that this is not just her. There's plenty of women that I've heard that from, or at least some type of comment or thought process that has come up based on just being in the groups that I have been in or in conversation with other women. And I haven't had a client who has thought this, or they did not share it with me, but we do tackle things in general that talks about self-awareness. So it may have kind of resolved itself in that moment, but I think it's real. I think these are real questions to ask, whatever she's going through. I do commend her for being very vulnerable and sharing that in that space, because sometimes in group chats, it can be all consuming and they have different opinions and it makes you feel like maybe you shouldn't have asked the question. So I do commend her, and I really think that she was brave. And also I think that there's a lot of people who feel that kind of way in some aspect or another. So I do think that comment and question should be addressed deeply in another episode at some point.
Absolutely.
But with that being said, I think it definitely ties in for the topic today. And again, it's about self-awareness and self-reflection. And with that being said, I'd like to give a little definition. Is that all right with you?
Please.
Okay, perfect. So when I think about self-awareness, first and foremost, I feel like people think, yeah, I'm self-aware, but it's really much deeper if you think about it. It's really about going in and really asking yourself, like, who you really are. It's understanding, like, the emotions behind certain things. How are you feeling in a certain scenario? Does that make you feel sad or mad or happy and joyful? Like, understanding what things make you feel a certain way. And it's also about looking at, like, your values. What are your principles that you stand behind? What is it that drives you to be and do the things that you do in your life? And it's also about your fears. Like, what makes you afraid? I think there's some women who are afraid of becoming a single mom by choice, which is totally natural. Are there some things of, like, what happens if something doesn't work out and you're by yourself financially? It's just, there's so many things that could trigger you, and knowing and being aware of somewhat of, like, what that is, so that in the future you can, well, once you make that aware of that's what's happening, you can kind of address those things. But also, like, what are your motivations behind it? And as we kind of relate it to, like, single mom by choice, what is your motivation behind becoming a single mom by choice? Is it out of, like, desperation? Like, is it out of being like, this is the last choice or the last option, because everything else kind of failed? Like, just really understanding what is your motivation behind becoming a mother, particularly a single mom by choice. And then how do you handle situations in your life? How do you handle disappointments and letdowns? And how do you handle when people give you their unwanted 2 cents? Because I'm telling you right now, when you choose to become, whether you do or you don't, but a mother or even a single mom by choice, there's going to be people's opinions and thoughts. And how do you handle that? Or even if, like, you're going and you're thinking about trying to do fertility, so going and getting an IUI or doing an IVF, and that doesn't work out. Like, how can you handle those tough situations? These are so important to think about now, because when you're in the midst of it, it can be chaotic and crazy and you're all over the place. So kind of being aware of these things now can help you be successful when they come into the forefront. And so that's my definition, really, of just being self-aware. It's just understanding who you are to the core, to the best of your ability, and how you handle those situations. So I don't know. Do you want to add anything more to that, Tesh?
Yes, absolutely. And I think you've touched on some really, really valid points. I think what we've also got to take into consideration is you don't want it to, like, as Ambra touched on, it's like we want to look at it on a deeper level. We're not looking at it at just shallow surface level. And that's something that we've really got to take into consideration. You've got to allow self-awareness really helps you differentiate the desire to become a single mum versus the pressure versus the fear. So it's really understanding those driving forces. Is it the biological urgency? Is it a deeper calling? Is it loneliness? There's all these factors that you really need to, I feel, look into. And it's not, I think sometimes what we can do is over process, and it's not what we're trying to bring to the table. It's just understanding for yourself if this is the path that you want to take. Do you truly know what it is within your inner self to go, yes, these are the reasons that I want to become a single mum? Am I prepared to go down this path? Am I prepared to understand and listen to unsolicited advice from people, family, friends, and complete strangers? So Am I going to be supported in this? At what capacity do I need to be in order to put these in place? And it's just becoming aware of these things. It's not wanting you to become overwhelmed and consumed by it all, but it's just understanding how we can have this awareness for ourselves when we're leading into this journey.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I think too, just the point of it is to be gentle with yourself. And also because it's going to reveal things that you never thought of. It's going to come up for you. And so you want to be gentle with yourself. And like Tesh said, like, it's not to overwhelm you or to over analyze. That's none of that. It's just kind of like what comes up for you in these moments. What is it revealing to yourself? And it's not to shame you. It's just to like, this is what it is. This is who I am. And so that's just what we're really wanting you to think of. It's just the true core foundation of building of what it is to know who you are so that you can take the next step of becoming a mom and feel secure and confident in the step that you're making and having that clarity and inner knowing, like Tesh said, just really knowing in your core, like, yep, this is it. Or, you know what,
100%.
I thought it was, but it's really not. I'd rather wait till I have a partner, or I'd rather wait until I feel more financially secure. This is just a guide, a gentle guide to help you figure out if this is the right path, whatever you choose. And that's what I love about it. And I think that it's just so important because I know some people have had stumbled through it and they wish they had, you know, hey, that's me too. Stumbled through it.
And you're talking from experience. Yeah,
exactly.
And I think this is what's important. And it's really allowing you to create clarity around expectations versus reality. It's allowing you to notice patterns of self-sacrifice or over-functioning, just even in your day-to-day life as well. So, because you want to support decision-making from alignment, not emotional reactivity as well.
Correct.
So it's building that trust in your internal yes. It's independent of external opinions because believe me, you're going to get a ton of them. You really are. And so it's being able to navigate through all of that. And yes, people are going to provide you their 2 cents worth and their $50 worth as well, believe me. But this is where discernment comes into play and just like, okay, you've provided me your information. I'm going to now be with myself and just sit down and reflect over everything on how I'm feeling, what's coming up for me, what people have said. And it's you're the one at the end of the day that needs to make that decision for yourself. Nobody else can do that for you. Nobody. And I think that's what you need to remember is you can rely on yourself if you give yourself the time and the space to do so, whether you go ahead or whether you wait, as Dr. Ambra was saying as well. It's like there's no right or wrong. This is something for yourself and it's going to be individual as well. There's no blanket like this is going to suit every woman because it may not, and that's totally fine.
Absolutely. I'll touch on one thing and then we can go on to the next definition. But I will say too that I don't know about you, Tesh, but like we are, I think sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times, society and other people fantasize about what a mother looks like and how, like, it's supposed to be this. There's this picture of like motherhood, this fantasy of how motherhood's supposed to be, what that looks like. And I think that we have our blinders on and don't know. And so we come into something and you're shocked. Well, I was shocked. Like, you know, goodness, this is not what I thought. And I think that, again, going back to realizing, okay, I'm hearing what I've been told about motherhood and what movies have told me or what magazines have said about motherhood and my friends and family. But it's allowing you to kind of like push that aside and really dive deep into like being aware of those about yourself and knowing like what motherhood looks like for you and taking the data from like what you have learned and see if that really fits and aligns with you. So that's the thing that's really important when it talks about self-awareness. So I just think we're just kind of told a fairy tale about motherhood sometimes. And I think that let's just get real within ourselves and be honest with ourselves too.
100%, because what we watch on TV, let's be real, it's not real. Also, we have to look at our own family, our own friends, and the dynamics of the way we were raised and those sorts of things. And you're going to pick up along the way. It's like, oh, yeah, I understand. That doesn't really resonate with me and those sorts of things. And that's perfectly fine. So, because really the first people we're going to look at is our parents, is our own mother as well. And so it really is being, like we said before, giving yourself the grace and the patience and the love for yourself when you're considering this journey too. So yeah, I think society has a huge influence, and I have a few choice words. So
I know, right? Yes, that might be another episode.
Correct. So we could go on and on. This is one thing about Dr. Ambra and I is like we'll touch on a subject and then it's like it goes for a long time. So
yes, absolutely. It's okay. It's okay. That's good. So we talked about it too. When you are figuring out who you are, what goes hand in hand is self-reflection. And that's just really, like I think Tesh mentioned as well, but just slowing down to process what's happening with you, happening in your life, figuring out, does that make me feel good? Or does this choice feel aligned with me? You know, that my parents do that the right way for me, or did I like that? Or how do I feel when they did this with me when I was growing up? I don't really like that much. So just reflecting on the experiences that you're going through or have seen in the past or whatever, and figuring out if that's what you like, don't like, and making those choices and decisions, assessing your growth, you know, like you're realizing, hey, I used to do this, but now I'm doing this and that feels better for me, you know, and just understanding who you are now as a person, as well as reevaluating yourself all the time, just really getting to like know if that's you or if someone else is telling you what you need to do. So reflecting on that, like, no, I think I was doing it because they told me to do that. That's not really me. You know what I mean? Also looking at if what you're doing aligns with yourself, if it feels good to yourself. It's it truly you and your inner being, you know? And I think we talked about this before in our mini Instagram live we did at one point, but just your intuition, like deep in your heart, if you look deep into yourself, reflecting, does that feel good to you? Is that your truth? So when you're navigating the space of becoming a single mom by choice, does that feel good to you? Even like when you say it, does that feel good to you, or do you repel from that? So your body and your inner knowing will tell you something, and it'll give you the key of the direction you should go. But really sitting down, taking the time to process all of these things and seeing how you feel and navigating that along the way is kind of my definition of like self-reflection. What's your thoughts?
Absolutely. And I'm just going to touch on again in regards to intuition. It's being able to get to the point to notice the difference between your intuition and what is a survival response. So that is really important. And that's with the work that I do in regards to breath work and nervous system regulation. It is allowing yourself these tools to slow down enough to feel what's real, not what is just urgent for you, because that's what you have to take into consideration. It's understanding how to regulate your fear, if there's shame or overwhelm, so they are not running your decisions. It's being able to build capacity to hold conflicting emotions at once. So desire, doubt, joy, fear, vulnerability, and strength. It's all of these things that really allows you to become quite aware of what is there for you, what's coming to the surface, but it's not being reactive and responding to it, just acknowledging what is coming up for you. and there's no right or wrong. And it gives you the time then as well is to self-reflect. And I think that's what's really important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I love that. That's something that in my course that I teach, we talked about just reflection. So like just remembering and knowing who you are and then aligning that, realigning, coming back to who you are will help you navigate forward on the decision of the direction, the path that you want to take. I agree. I think the biggest thing, I'll keep saying, and I know Tesh will too, but really knowing, talk about inner clarity, that inner being within yourself. We all have this compass and we all know what feels good. It's just really honing in. And I think that's to be self-reflection, looking inward to know if that feels good to you or not and moving forward. I don't know. That's just a big thing for me. And I've had to learn that as I've gotten older and actually after having given birth to my son. I think the things that I wish I had known back then, I know now and know that that's really important because I'm telling you right now, everybody's different, but I know that there's usually some challenge or challenges as you're going through this journey, motherhood in general. But it's just when you can really be strong and know who you are, the less chance you'll get off track and be wavered by something or someone. I promise when you are able to stand by your convictions and be like, no, this is what I believe in. These are my values and my belief, and this is what feels good to me. And so I appreciate whatever you all are saying, but this is what I want for myself. And I think when you can like really hone in that and be really confident in that, you're already going great places. Trust me, you are.
Absolutely. So. And I couldn't agree more. And I think also what we've got to factor in is we're not always aware that external factors play an enormous role in our decision making. So when we're around friends and family that are becoming engaged and getting married or having children, is that playing a role in your decision? Are you allowing a lot of external factors create this decision for you? So this is where self-awareness really comes into play and discernment to go, okay, I'm going to sit here and just reflect on everything that I've taken in, but also how is that making me feel? And is this the right decision for me to make because of what I'm witnessing outside of me? That is really important as well.
Absolutely. Which honestly brings us kind of into like the next part. It's just with your self-awareness, Tesh, did you have any fears when it was coming for you to consider becoming a single mom by choice? Did you have any fears? What were your blind spots? Like what beliefs did you have? Did you have any when you were going through it? And then if you didn't, now looking back, oh yeah, I had this one. Like, ooh, I should have been doing this. You know what I mean? Like what was it for you?
For me, at the time, the real pull was I really wanted to become a mother. And my concern was, again, with outside noises playing a bit of a role. I was 37 when I started to really look into it. And it was the window, the biological window for me. And I think at the time as well, it was the age thing that was coming up a lot. It's like, oh, you're really pushing it. You're getting close to 40, those sorts of things. If anything, that was probably the fear that I had, that I was going to miss my window of opportunity to become a mother. I wasn't worried in regards to finding a man. I was dating, or said at the time, it was really interesting because I was quite aware that I didn't want to put this pressure on men that I was meeting as well. Like I was quite aware of that. I was like, I don't want to do this to a man and say, hey, it's like, I like you, but I also want to be pregnant within 12 months. Yeah, they're going to run, see ya. You know what I mean? So I was quite aware of that. I was like, I don't want to put that pressure on a man. I don't think that's fair because then why am I going into this relationship? Right. And I felt like I'd be going into it for all the wrong reasons. And so I was like, no, I'm going to leave that on the wayside. And I was like, the real calling for me is I'm ready to be a mom. This is really what I want.
I want to pause for just a moment because if any part of this conversation is resonating with you, I want you to know you're not alone. I'm currently building a mini course called Ready from Within. designed to help women slow down, reflect, and reconnect with themselves as they consider or even navigate solo motherhood. This isn't about rushing a decision. It's about building a strong inner foundation so you can trust yourself through the good, the hard, and everything in between. I've opened up a waitlist so you can be the first to know when it's ready. The link is in the show notes.
And the way I've always been is, even my parents said, I dive in head first. And I'm like, head first, deal with it later kind of thing. And so for a lot of things, they've worked out. And for other things, it's like, oh, I kind of wish I knew that going in. But I really did a lot of my homework. And I also made sure that my mother was part of the journey, because it was kind of a challenge for my parents because of the decision that I made. So took my mother on the journey because I wanted her to see that this was something that was really important to me. And so she understood as well in regards to my biological clock and the reason for it. So sort of looking back now, there wasn't anything major that I was like, ooh, I should have looked into this a little bit more or anything like that. It was like I knew internally that everything was going to work out exactly how it was meant to. And I know that for a lot of people, it's like, wow, okay. But you don't know. And I think sometimes letting go of an expectation of an outcome and making peace with that as well is really a blessing too. So that's kind of what it was for myself. Yeah.
So you said you did your homework. Did you feel like, I guess I'll put it this way, like you had the fears, like the biological clock was ticking. And then obviously you mentioned about you were dating, but you weren't trying to like put pressure on anybody to get married and have a baby.
Yeah.
But did you do any other like self-reflection or self-awareness, just kind of deeper connections of who you were? And like, besides just the clock is ticking, did you do anything else to kind of like say, hey, this is why I'm doing this and I feel good about this?
For me at the time, it's like I wasn't really aware in regards to meditation and journaling and those sorts of things. But what I would actually do is I would speak to God. I would just like be in bed and just, okay, so this is where I'm at and this is what I'm thinking of doing. And I know that you will let me know if this is actually going to be the right path for me. And I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure a lot of, like yourself and a lot of women will understand. And it's now because of the work that I do as well. And I can feel it now. It's so interesting. It was like, this is the right decision. It's in there. There's this calm. There's this internal peace when you feel you have made the right decision. There is this internal peace. And I was like, yeah. And nothing and no one was going to change my mind. That was it. That was the thing. It was just like, I felt this internal peace. And I was like, yeah, this is it. This feels right. There was no feeling of anxiousness or this rush or panic or anything. It was just like, yeah, I know what I'm doing and this feels right. It really feels right. That's what it was for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, and you mentioned like you did your homework. And for me, I will kind of first just say like, I definitely had fear of my parents missing out on having their grandchild at a certain age, the fear of like, I am still not married and still childless, the fear of what the biological clock is ticking and what happens if it doesn't work out, if I don't meet that Prince Charming, so to speak. So yeah, I was definitely in the land of like fear, but also at the same time, yes, I had that fear. And this is without me even really knowing, like, I knew to a degree of self-awareness, but this is without me even just really knowing the extent. Obviously, I was going through like that, but it was like, yes, I have these fears, but I still want to be a mom no matter what. Like, I knew within me that yes, my fear is like, my parents are going to miss out. What if they pass away before I ever have a kid? But I still felt like I still desire to be a mom, whether I meet a person or not. And I knew like it'll happen eventually. If it doesn't, it is okay. I was really coming to the terms of a lot of those things. in amidst the fears and the concerns and the biological clock, I was even like researching, because I'm a type A person. So I'm like, researching things. I'm talking to like my close friend about it because she's a single mom, but hers is not by choice, but she's a single mom. Also, I even talked to like a therapist about it. So I was already kind of in the awareness, despite the fears and uncertainty that was still driving me. But I knew that it meant that I was going to be okay if I made this decision. And so I think that journaling, I've always journaled for a very long time. So I think even journaling and trying to figure that out really helped me, and to press forward and become a mom or choose that route on my own, because I knew it felt good to me and I was excited about it. And I was moving past the fears and more so of like, yes, this feels right for me. And no matter if no one else supports me, I'm going to do this on my own and I'm going to be okay. I don't know what the unknown is going to be. I don't know how things are going to look, but I know that if it's meant for me to be, I'm okay with that. And so that's kind of where I wound up doing. So I say like unknowingly, I was going through this process of self-awareness, deeper diving into that and reflecting on things unknowingly. But now looking back, it's like, okay, cool. That's great. I did that. And I could have done some more work for sure. But I do wish that I had worked more on knowing like my boundaries and being able to speak firmly, which I did do, but be more strong and clear about what I want, like my values and my principles, because I do feel like I have talked about this on every platform. Can imagine on Instagram, YouTube, on this podcast, whatever, that I was doing some of this alone. Like the support system was very small and my family was not behind me. And them trying to talk me out of it was something that, because I'm close with my family, definitely got to me, you know what I mean? And so, and made me rethink things sometimes. So I think that if I had known back then to kind of work on those areas of who I am, and in a way I still did, obviously, because I held firm and pressed on. But I think that would have prepped me a little bit better, I think, and not have been so hurt or had been kind of swayed sometimes in a certain manner. And I think if I had really just been able to kind of prep myself in that way, I think I would have been able to navigate it a little bit easier. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that in a way, unintentionally, I was diving deep into what I wanted in life and what I valued and what direction I wanted to go, and honing in on my inner awareness, inner clarity of like, this is what I want and it feels good. But looking back now, I do feel like using other tools and ways to help me stay strong and navigate certain spaces that I didn't prepare for, I didn't know was going to come up, would have been helpful.
Absolutely. And I want to touch on that, is that we all do it. We practice self-awareness, but on a subconscious level. So what we're discussing and what we're bringing to the table is actually being consciously aware. And this is, even though we were practicing these in our journey, it's also guiding, like we said, with the dynamics of our own family. We just don't know, because it's in these moments in our life that you will figure out who will be 100% supportive and who won't. And sometimes it will shock you. And as you said, you'll deal with hurt, you'll deal with resentment, you'll deal with all these things. And this is we want to provide these tools so then you're not feeling caught out or it's sort of like thrown off course by any means. At the end of the day, the decision is really yours. And we want to be able to provide these tools so you can sit there and be with yourself and just know to your core that you are making the right decision for yourself, whether you decide to become a single mum by choice or whether you don't. You are going to know. You're going to reflect on everything, like we said, all the external factors, also the internal factors of where you are, what's coming up for you, all those sorts of things. So we understand, we know this journey, and I can't even get the words out, but it's just like, we're here to hold your hand through the whole process. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I love, because we can look back and reflect on the things that we wish we had known, but now we know. Now we're here to share that with you guys. And not to say that we know everything, we're always learning.
That's right.
And the thing is that we're just one step ahead of you guys. You know what I mean? Like, and we want to be like your little sister or your aunt or whatever, and be like, this is.
We made mistakes too.
Yeah.
So don't
Exactly.
it's been perfect by any means, but that's why we're sharing our journey. And that's why we're saying what we've learned along our own journey. It's like, oh, okay, if only we had this, or if I did actually practice this, would this have changed my decision at the time? Or would I still have made the right decision? There's so many factors, and absolutely. So yeah, we just want to be there. Like you said, big sister or an aunt or just a friend that, neutral ground. We're here to.
No judgment.
No, none whatsoever. We got you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this kind of actually blended in perfectly. And it was like, why does this even matter? Like, why do we even talk about, who cares? We said before, like, this is to help you stay aligned with what your values are, helping you to focus on being confident and not letting fear drive those decisions. It's being emotionally, mentally steady and ready. It's allowing you to let what you have created for yourself, to something that feels good for yourself, to be your compass from here on forward. These things of being aware and reflecting, it goes back and forth. It really helps you to navigate this space of what you truly want without the confusion, and be an easier. I'm not saying it won't be like complicated sometimes, but you can be able to have the right tools to help you go through those tough streams, going upstream or whatever. It's being able to define your boundaries and knowing like, no, but this is what I want. And I can't have you sway me differently, because this is what I want for myself. It's being able to create a positive support system around you. Understanding, this is what I want for myself. So now I need to gather the people who will be there to help me create the vision that I want on this path, whether it's becoming a solo mom or being a mom through getting married and whatever. You know what I mean? But these two go hand in hand to help direct your path and make the right decision for you. So that is why it matters. And when you know those things, it is just so much easier to go down the path instead of just flailing and struggling and being torn back and forth. It really is. And when you have that solid foundation, it just kind of goes up from there. It really does, in a positive way.
Yes, agreed. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I know this portion, it seems like it may have been a lot, but trust me, you're not alone. And like I said before, like, I actually have a wonderful course that's called Ready from Within, that really focuses on your inner clarity and knowing who you are as a person, and helping you make the best decision that's for you and is aligned for you. And I use like the Ready Within framework. They're the 4 R's, which we kind of already spoke about, but it's like remembering. It is being able to reveal like what's coming up for you, and then also regulating those things that are coming up for you, and then realigning everything together to help guide you on the right decision. And I think that this is really good for women who are just uncertain and need the clarity. They want to feel confident in who they are to make that decision. And my course really helps with that. It helps you to make the best decision for yourself, that you can really trust yourself and be aligned to who you are. And again, it's called Ready from Within, and you can check out the link in the show notes. And yeah, if you have any questions, you'll definitely let me know, and I can reach out to you with that. But I'm so excited, and I definitely want not for you to be hanging. We always like to give you like prompts and ways to kind of help you navigate this space. And so we're going to move on to that. Unless, Tash, anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, that's everything from me at the moment. Yeah.
All right. I love these things. So I like doing actionable steps or action steps, Because again, I remembered when I was making these decisions, I had no guidance whatsoever. I mean, I didn't even know about this journey. Like, I just knew I wanted to do this, and I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know that there was an outlet for me because it wasn't really just advertised out there. And I still feel like back then, becoming a single mom by choice was still very shameful and frowned upon. And so there was no true guidance. And so I was just kind of figuring it out on my own. And I wish that I had a podcast that was able to shed light on this, but also give you some first steps to help you navigate this space. And so what I'm going to do, from me and my expertise as a single mom by choice coach, I'm going to give you some journal prompts followed by some visualization and then an actual affirmation. These are things that I do inside my one-on-one coaching that I provide that I think are very helpful. So I'm giving it to you guys, and this is for free. So make sure you get a pen and then something to write on, because you're going to want to take these down and really think about them. So for the journal prompts, I'm going to give you 3 to think about. And the first one is, I'm going to read this out so I don't mess it up. It says, what am I afraid of if I choose the path of single motherhood? What are you afraid of if you choose this? What comes up for you when you think about that, about doing it alone? And you're not here to like judge yourself. It's just what comes up for you. What are your initial thoughts when you think about that? And then the second one is, what values do I want, or do you want to build your motherhood on? So basically what I'm saying is, what principles guide how you want to live and make decisions on how you want to show up for yourself and how you want to be as a parent to your child? And then the third one is, what does ready really mean in terms of becoming a mother on your own? Like, what does ready mean to you? Do you feel like that you're ready? Have you even thought about what that looks like for you? And so I just want you to reflect, just kind of feel what comes up for you on that and reflect on those prompts and really give yourself some time to think about it. Don't overanalyze just whatever you think of immediately. It's really sometimes the best answer. Is what comes up with that. So just jot it down and just think about it. And so the other one now we're going to move on is to visualization. So what I want you to do, not now, but whenever you have some time, is to really like lay down on the bed or sit up, whatever you want to do, and really just close your eyes. And I want you to think about yourself and what future qualities does this solo mom possess? So thinking about yourself in the future, like what qualities does she possess? What do you want for the solo mom to be as you're going through this process? And then what would she say thank you for doing now? Prepping yourself right now. What would she say? You know what? Thank you, for instance, Ambra, for doing this now, because now my life is better. You have set yourself up for doing something that is helping me now in the future. So basically, like, what is it that she's thanking you for that you did in the past that has helped her now in the future? I hope that makes sense. I don't know, Tash, what do you think of that visualization?
I think the future visualization, I think, is really a beautiful way to do it as well. Absolutely. Because you're putting forward, who am I going to be? How am I going to show up? What is it that I really want to be as a mother? Absolutely. I think that's really wonderful to do.
Yeah. And the last thing I want you to do, I'm so big on affirmations. Those are like my jam. I don't think they say that anymore, but that is my thing. And so I want you to just write this one down, and you can use this or tweak it the way it fits you. But you're going to say, I trust myself to make decisions that align with my truth. I trust myself to make decisions that align with my truth. And just say that and reflect on that too. What does that mean for you? I think that's important. And you can use this. This is a great actionable steps, in my opinion. Those are great things to go ahead and start doing. And I just, again, wish that, like, unintentionally, maybe I had thought about these things, but intentionally you are actually going through this process. I think it's really important. But I think my favorite is the visualization, just really thinking about your future self. What do you see in her? And her saying, thank you for doing this now because it's helped me. So that's what I have as far as my actionable steps. And again, if you all have any questions about it, feel free to comment below, or you can DM me or whatever, email me, and I will be happy to answer or give you further an explanation of these. But that's what I have for you guys to take as your homework. So Tesh, what do you have?
Oh gosh, I think everything that Ambra has touched on is really beautiful. Absolutely. And what I do want you to remember is when you are asking yourself these questions is to remember your breath and to notice your breath. How is it feeling? Is it racing? Is it slow? Where do you feel your breath? Are you feeling it in the top parts of your lungs? Do you feel it right down into your belly, all the way into your pelvic area? Where do you feel the tension in your body? Are you aware of tension in your body when you're asking yourself these questions? This is something to really become aware of as well. And when you start to notice feelings with the topics that you're going to be writing on, just give yourself the opportunity to breathe into that and let yourself know that you're so safe to be answering these questions. You're so safe to reflect on what's coming up for you. There's no right or wrong. If there's an emotion that's attached to what's coming up for you, that's okay. That's okay. And it's just allow yourself to place your hand on your heart space and just feel what's there for you as you're writing it out and just going, I'm safe to bring these up. And it doesn't matter what it is. You're so safe to bring all of this up for you. Just keep remembering your breath. That's what's important as well. That's all I have for you today.
Oh, no, that's perfect, because things will arise, things that you never even thought of that come up.
100%. Yeah. And just allowing yourself to feel in your body. So noticing, as we discussed before, if there's an emotion that's coming up with the questions that Ambra had as well, and just feeling what's there and just being really gentle with yourself as that's coming up for you. So it's really beautiful to do.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, is there anything else you want to add or wrap? Because we're about to wrap up. So anything else that our audience would love to hear, or are we good to go?
I think we're good. We've touched on so many subjects. And like we've said before, please feel free to provide comments, questions, anything like that. We really love those, as well as we love interacting with our audience. So please do not be afraid to ask questions or reach out.
Absolutely. Like, we truly love this community. We want to support you all in any way that we can. So don't be afraid. Again, we don't judge. We're just here to help and provide the tools that you need, because this is definitely a safe space. So even if you don't, we encourage you, but even if you don't, like, comment down below. You can always, again, email us. You can DM us. You can also check out our YouTube channel, because we have great stuff in there as well. And also share this. If you felt like this was good and you want to share that with someone else, it doesn't have to be anybody who is trying to be a single mom by choice. It could be a mom in general, because it's important for everybody just to know, to have that strong foundation of who they are and reflecting on that. That is so important. So feel free to share that with others, as well as follow us. So make sure you let us know that you're following us. You can always hit us up on Instagram to show us that you're following us. And everything else I forgot to say, you know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what to do. You've heard on the podcast.
Click subscribe, all the things,
all
like what we do.
Yeah. All those things.
All those things.
We want to be able to help other people. So make sure you share. Please, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, until next time, you guys, take care.
Thank you. Much love. Bye.